Have a question to the Kenyan people. For a long time, I have contemplated about the power of magic. And it's interesting because although I was born in Nairobi and I lived in Nairobi most of my life, since moving down to the coast, it has become extremely apparent that, well, for one, Nairobi is certainly not a representation of Kenya. And for two, there are people with extremely powerful magic in this country. And we know for a fact that during the Mau Mau uprising, one of the ways in which Kenya gained independence is because a lot of people were practicing rituals. A lot of people were practicing ancestral magic. And this is the same thing that happened in Haiti during the Haitian Revolution. The reason that the Haitians were able to win against the Mzungu colonizers was because they used voodoo. And let's not forget that magic is innate to all melanated people. But the reason, and it's funny because when I talk to some Kenyans and they tell me about the powers that even just their grandfathers had, this is like 2 generations back, the incredible powers and abilities that exist here on the African continent. But because during colonization, religion was brought in to make people fear their magic, to make them feel that the magic that was bestowed upon them by the Most High was demonic. And they were taught all kinds of nonsense, such as the meek shall inherit the earth, and that only poor people go to heaven. What an absolute load of bullshit. Because before the colonizers came, many very powerful and advanced civilizations existed here on the African continent. And in Europe, they'll say that there was civilizations such as the Roman Empire and the Greek Empire, and I guess other empires before that. But yes, they were empires, but they were not civilizations because everything they created was built on the pillaging and the taking away of other people. Whereas the empires and the civilizations that existed in Africa were based on Ubuntu. They were based on harmony. They were based on living in harmony with nature and animals and each other. But of course, the main reason why colonization happened, they'll tell you it was because they were bringing civilization. Yet how many times have melanated people civilized the African people? Let's not forget about what happened during the Dark Ages when the Moors were the ones who literally taught Europeans how to bathe. So in this point where we are living through colonization 2.0, it is very important that we understand, and or should I even say we overstand and understand, that the only way we win this spiritual war is through spiritual warfare. It continues to shock me why people will easily go and visit a Maganga so that they can curse their family members and they can curse other people out of jealousy, rather than actually cursing the people who are causing all this bullshit to begin with. Why is it that Kenyans continue to curse one another rather than cursing the people who actually oppress them? And I don't know, perhaps this is a massive spell, perhaps, and of course, as much as I was raised and grew up in Kenya, I'm not of Kenyan blood. And so there are, of course, certain things that I don't understand, and I'm really looking to the Kenyan people to educate me on this, because Kenyans are such powerful people. The number of incredibly powerful Kenyans that I have met throughout my life here, it just shocks me, and I fail to understand what is going on. Why are we not using our common sense and our logic to free ourselves? Why are we continuing to focus our energy on people that really aren't causing the biggest issues in our lives? This is something I really want to understand, because this war is spiritual, and the sooner we wake up to understand, and again, the fact that I literally this morning I saw a video on TikTok of some Mzungu who was at the police station here in Diani because he had beaten up his girlfriend. But because he was Muzungu, he was not even being put in a cell. And not only that, he was totally disrespecting the police officer, even going to the extent of literally like and pushing his makamasi onto the police officer. And yet the police officer stood there and did absolutely nothing. Yet had this been a Kenyan person, that police officer would have beaten the Kenyan half to death. So this thing of continuing to see the Muzungu as high up and as being untouchable is really something that people need to start understanding. And I too, as much as I was born to a Muzungu father, but I was brought up in Kenya, I remember the very first time I went to Europe, which was when I was about 9 or 10 years old. The thing that shocked me the most was to see that Muzungus could be doing just standard jobs like working in a petrol station or working in a supermarket. And so this is even coming from someone who is half Muzungu. So it is time that we understand that they are not superior. They do not have more power. They are not gods. They are not better than us. And the thing is that they have worked so hard to program the African people into believing that, so that when they come and colonize us all over again, we simply turn the other cheek and pretend that nothing is happening. So instead of using the powerful magic that you have against your family members or other Kenyan people, why not target it towards the people in Europe who are really causing oppression and who are pushing Ruto to do whatever it is that he is doing? Because this is the only way we win this war. Why do you think that they worked so hard to make African people forget about the power of their ancestral magic? It is because it was the only tool that they had to literally fight and win against the oppressors. So as we continue to move forward on this journey of spiritual liberation, let us think differently. Let us think about uniting with each other and really fighting the people who are really oppressing us. Why is it that we don't seem to be cursing the police, for example, or using rituals to minimize their power? And maybe this is something that is already being done and I'm just not aware of it. So please, I would love to hear from you all in the comments. What is happening? How can we start to use our power and our magic for good and for liberation?